2004, our American adventure took us to Las Vegas, Honolulu, the Grand Canyon, Pearl Harbor, Red Rock Canyon, and getting married in Hawaii. Our American adventure began in London when we flew from Gatwick Airport to Las Vegas. We arrived in America's gambling capital, jumped in a taxi and headed for our base, which was the impressive Luxor Hotel, and our room on the 23rd floor that gave us views of the distant mountains.
These are my chips, so fun at the casino! I'm rich girl.
Then it was time to explore the main strip in America's playground city. We took a stroll along the famous strip, taking in the views of the huge hotels and casinos.
Welcome to the Eiffel Tower, Las Vegas 2004.
On our second day, we made our way over to the impressive Stratosphere and went up to the observation deck, which is over 1,000 feet high and gives superb 360-degree views of the surrounding desert. We also watched the people on the big shot ride, which propels people over the edge of the tower. In the evening, we hopped on a local bus which took us to the local baseball stadium at Cashman's Field, the home of the Las Vegas 51s. A highly entertaining night, and the crowd were as much part of the entertainment as the on-field game. The next morning, we were up bright and early and collected our convertible hire car. We then hit the open road and headed for Red Rock Canyon.
Welcome to Vegas. Let's hit the road. And we're heading due north. Let's open this sucker up.
The canyon lies in the Mojave Desert and is an area of geologic interest and beauty. The colours in the rocks are so vivid and the size so vast. Red Rock Canyon, we turned around and drove south across the state line into Arizona and onto the hugely impressive Hoover Dam.
Tell me, Rob, where are we, boy?
We're on the Hoover Dam, and it's bloody hot.
We took a tour of the dam and visited the generator room. While we were in the generator room, we were informed that our lift had broken down and we'd have to walk through the dam, not something normally allowed. As we walked through the dam, Mandy noticed some running water on the walls and asked the guide if they were leaks. He replied, "No ma'am, that's just seepage." The following day, we made our way over to McCarran Airport to board a helicopter flight to see one of the great natural wonders of the world, the Grand Canyon. We gently lifted up, left the city and flew out over the desert until we came to the Hoover Dam, and we had some spectacular views of this man-made structure. We then flew over Lake Mead. And then the desert floor just seemed to open up over this enormous canyon with the Colorado River running below. Even the other helicopters looked like flies in the distance. We then flew deeper into the canyon, and the shadows formed what looked like a human face on the walls of the canyon. We landed in the canyon at a working ranch. We met up with an old-timer named Hoss, who showed us around the ranch, told us stories of the Old West and his life as a gold prospector. He then took us over to the paddock to show us the steers they're raised for rodeos.
Went on a rampage, and so Starkey took his wives and they skipped out of here. I think it was like 6 or 8 weeks before it was safe to come back, and then they came back and they lived in that thing, but Starkey took his own life, put a shotgun under his neck and pulled the trigger with his toe.
No.
And I think it ruined his day. But anyway.
After a good breakfast, it was time to reboard our helicopter and fly back through the canyon to Las Vegas. On our return to Las Vegas, the pilot flew over the city and down the main strip, giving us some great views of America's gambling playground.
What did you think?
Absolutely fantastic. The most amazing, fantastic trip. Completely out of this world that I have ever been on. Ever.
And were you nervous when we first took off?
Yes, I was very nervous.
Well, you-
Once it's settled down, you seem to get used to the helicopter.
Yeah,
It was cool.
the captain was good, wasn't he, with his
Very,
commentary
very
and
good.
that.
Very, very good.
And we saw Arnold Schwarzenegger's house.
We did. He didn't invite us in for tea.
No, well, never mind. And the ranch was pretty good as well, with the old cowboy, Hoss.
Hoss.
His
And you
dog.
swapped hats with him.
Yes. Yes.
In the late afternoon, we drove over to Sagebush Ranch for a sunset riding trip. The trail took us up towards the mountains, and the colours of the deserts as the sun was setting were impressive. We then headed back to the ranch as the lights of Las Vegas were shimmering in the distance. At the ranch, we then enjoyed a campsite steak dinner with a well-earned glass of wine, the perfect way to end our visit to Las Vegas.
What did you think of the horse riding? You've just been on a horse for 2 hours and 12 miles.
My arse hurts.
But did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was cool. Very
What was
good.
the best part about it?
Getting off.
Your horse looked a little hungry.
He went for a bale of hay. You've got a friend by you.
There's not bikini Betty behind me.
But guess it. Bikini. Yeehaw!